I've had men sit in my office with their heads down, eyes tired, voice low, and whisper things they've never told anyone. I just don't feel like a man anymore, Doc. I avoid intimacy now. It's embarrassing. I'm only in my 50s, but I feel like I'm 80. Maybe you've had thoughts like that. Maybe you've noticed the signs to your energy crashing midday. Your legs cramping for no reason. Your hands and feet cold, even when it's warm out. Or maybe you're just tired of waking up and not recognizing the man in the mirror anymore. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know you're not alone. It's not your fault. I'm Dr. Caldwell. I've spent over 30 years specializing in men's health, and the truth is, most doctors are missing the real reason you feel this way. They blame your age. They blame your lifestyle. What if I told you the real problem might be something as simple as blood flow? Yes, your circulation. And what if the fix didn't require another prescription or an awkward visit to the pharmacy, but could actually start with a simple 2-minute stretch you do in the morning? It sounds almost too simple, I know. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share has changed the lives of dozens of my patients. Men just like you in it, contradicts almost everything you've heard about aging. Let me tell you about one of those men. His name's Greg, 62, lives in Tampa, Florida. Retired firefighter. When Greg first came to me, he said something that broke my heart. Doc, I can still see the man I used to be in my mind, but my body doesn't match anymore. Greg had done everything right. He exercised when he could, ate decently, didn't smoke, but he had constant fatigue. His legs felt heavy. He'd started avoiding golf with his buddies because just walking the course wore him out. And intimacy, he said it felt like his body had forgotten how. We ran his labs. Everything looked normal, but I knew what to look for. I checked his circulation, and bingo. Low oxygenation in his legs. Weak capillary refill, blood moving slower than it should. He was running on half the fuel his body needed, and here's what's terrifying. Millions of men are in Greg's exact situation and don't even realize it. So I gave Greg something incredibly simple. Not a drug, not an expensive piece of equipment. A stretch, just a 2-minute stretch. Developed years ago to stimulate nitric oxide production and wake up the endothelial lining in the blood vessels. He looked at me like I was crazy, but he did it. Every morning, just 2 minutes. In 2 weeks, he called me, and I'll never forget what he said, Doc. I feel like someone turned the lights back on in my body. His energy shot up. The cramps stopped. His skin even looked healthier. Why? Because circulation is the delivery system for your entire body. If it slows down, everything slows down. Your energy, your strength, your drive. But if you wake it back up, even just a little, you can feel decades younger. Another patient, Marcus, 48, runs a landscaping business in Arizona, was struggling with embarrassing issues in the bedroom. Said it quietly, barely able to look at me. I just can't perform like I used to. He thought it was low testosterone. But it wasn't. His testosterone was fine. It was his blood flow that was starving his performance. I gave him the same morning stretch, combined with a few natural habits I'll share in a moment. Within days, Marcus was texting me updates with more confidence than I'd ever seen from him. He wasn't just back, he was better than before. Here's what you need to understand. Your blood flow is like a river. As we age, that river gets clogged with debris, plaque, stiff arteries, inflammation. And unless you do something to clear the way, your body starts shutting down parts of the system. It prioritizes survival over strength, drive, and vitality. That's when men start feeling old. Not because of age, but because their internal highways are jammed now. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people think you need to jog, or lift weights, or drink beet juice by the gallon to improve circulation. Not true. In fact, one of the most powerful activators of blood flow is movement targeted at the hip flexor and pelvic region. This area is like a command center for vascular health. There's a specific stretch I teach that unlocks this, regen-activating blood vessels that may have been dormant for years. Here's how you do it. Stand up straight. Step 1. Foot back into a gentle lunge. Raise the opposite arm straight above your head. Hold for 30 seconds while breathing deeply. Switch sides. This activates the iliopsoas and surrounding vessels, opening the pelvic arteries and increasing nitric oxide, the molecule your body uses to expand blood vessels. Do this every morning, just 2 minutes, total. You'll feel warmer, lighter, stronger, but I don't want you to stop there. Let's talk about another key patient, Michael, a 54 accountant, up in Boston. Michael was sharp mentally, but said he was foggy all day and dragging himself to bed at 8 p.m. I looked at his hands, cold, his ankles swollen, circulation again. This time, we added a simple breathing technique. Inhale deeply through the nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 7. Exhale slowly for 8. It's called the 4-7-8 method. Stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system and opens microvascular channels throughout the body. Within 1 week, he was jogging again, sleeping like a rock. And his wife called to thank me. I'll stop here and say, I'm not sharing these stories to impress you. I'm sharing them to show you what's possible. And in the next part, I'll tell you why these tips, while powerful, aren't enough on their own. You see? While the stretch, the breathing, the micro habits, they all help. They're only scratching the surface, and here's why. Every man I've treated who struggled with low energy, poor stamina, brain fog, performance issues, they all had one thing in common: a silent breakdown in nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is the molecule your body uses to tell your blood vessels to relax and open up. It's how your body delivers oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. But by age 40, your natural production of nitric oxide drops off a cliff. It's often less than half of what it should be, which means that even if your heart is strong, your blood can't get where it needs to go. Let me say that again. You can have a healthy heart and still have poor circulation, because nitric oxide is the messenger. Without it, your vessels stay tight and constricted, like a kinked garden hose. That's why most men hit a wall and can't figure out why. They're doing everything right, but they still feel old, still tired, still numb, still diminished. So, what do most doctors do? They prescribe pills. Pills that force the issue, that push blood into areas that aren't ready or supported. That come with side effects, headaches, dizziness, even vision problems. And men hate that. I know, because I've seen it in their eyes. What if there was another way? What if you could restore your body's ability to produce nitric oxide naturally, without drugs, without side effects? That's the path I chose to explore after losing a friend and fellow physician to cardiovascular disease in his 50s. He looked perfectly healthy on the outside, but inside, he was starving for oxygen. He didn't. No, and no one warned him. That loss drove me to uncover what I now call the blood flow restoration protocol. It's a simple blueprint to restart your nitric oxide engines. Unclog your circulation. Breathe new life into your body again. And the core principle is this: you must address the root cause, the loss of nitric oxide, and the stiffening of blood vessels. And when you do, everything changes. Energy comes back. You sleep better. Your drive returns. And you start to feel like a man again. Now, to make this simpler, I've put together a free presentation where I walk through this full protocol, step by step. It's something I've shared privately with my patients, and now I want to share it with you. You'll find the link right below this video in the description. Click it, watch it, and take the next step toward reclaiming your vitality. But before you go, let me tell you one last story. A man named Ron, 71 years old, came to me a few months ago. Retired Navy, proud, stubborn, and completely defeated. He looked me in the eyes and said, "Doc, I think I'm just done. My body's too far gone." And I told him what I'll tell you right now. You're not broken. You're just blocked. You don't. You need to feel like a ghost in your own life. You don't have to accept weakness or fatigue or loss of performance as just aging. You are a man, and your body was designed to thrive at any age. But you've got to move. You've got to decide. You've got to act. Because your future doesn't change with hope. It changes with action. Start with the stretch. Do it tomorrow morning, just 2 minutes. Then breathe deeply. Take a walk. Watch the free presentation I linked below. Get the truth. Learn what's really going on. Give your body what it needs to come back to life. You have more power than you've been told, and your best days are not behind you, they're ahead. But only if you step forward. Don't wait. The link is right below. That's your first move. I'll see you on the other side.